Namaste. Purva Bhadrapad is ruled by Jupiter and it is the last nakshatra of Jupiter. It falls in Aquarius and Pisces. The first three padas of Purva Bhadrapad falls in the intellectual sign of Aquarius and the last pada falls in the sign of Pisces. So how is this nakshatra? What is the nature of this nakshatra? And many more such details I have described and shared in this podcast. So let's begin. Jupiter rules and loves three nakshatras: Punarvasu, Vishaka and Purva Bhadrapad. The nature of Punarvasu is of restoring that what has been lost. The nature of Vishakha is to intensify that which has been restored. And the nature of Purva Bhadrapad is to spread the light of awareness, the wisdom that has been gained by intensifying self-penance, self-growth. So you see, Purva Bhadrapad is the culmination, the flowering of Jupiter, Sri Guru. Purva Bhadrapad is very special for me and for all meditative beings, since the realized ones are perfectly aware of the depth and the maturity that this wonderful, pious, divine nakshatra has. Purva Bhadrapad is one of the most pious nakshatra. In simple words, Purva Bhadrapad signify the maturity value of Jupiter. Maturity value is the amount due and payable to the holder of a financial obligation as of the maturity date of the obligation. Similarly, Jupiter's qualities manifest in totality in the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapad. Purva Bhadrapad is the maturity value of Jupiter. When moon occupies Purva Bhadrapad, then the desire to be pious, the desire to attain knowledge, the desire to attain wisdom, and the desire to share knowledge by expanding the network of friends and followers is more than usual. The most striking quality of Purva Bhadrapad is being human. The essence of being human is that one does not seek perfection. Perfection is an ego trip. The very idea of perfectionism drives people crazy. The perfectionist is bound to be a neurotic. He cannot enjoy life till he is perfect. Perfectionism is a neurosis, it is an illness, and the more you try to become perfect, the more frustrated you will become. Being human means not to chase perfection, but to chase excellence. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Excellence is attainable when you give your heart and soul to the work that you do. In other words, when you are total in whatsoever you do, then and only then excellence is attainable. And so the key to attain success, the key to experience a happy life is by being total and not by being perfect. Always remember, the pursuit of excellence is gratifying and healthy. The pursuit of perfection is frustrating, neurotic, and a terrible waste of time. Purva Bhadrapad, ruled by Sri Guru Jupiter, is interested in attaining excellence and not perfection. And so moon in Purva Bhadrapad simply fires up this tendency of chasing excellence. The beauty of Purva Bhadrapad born natives is that they are humanist. To them, humanity matters above all. And so these fellows don't try to be perfect. They emphasize more on being human. Remember, don't try to be perfect. Just be an excellent example of being human. Out of all the 12 zodiac signs, it is only Aquarius that is truly dedicated to be an excellent example of being human. Aquarius is a highly humanistic sign, and Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra falls in Aquarius zodiac. The sign of Aquarius comprises of 3 nakshatras, Dhanishta, Shatataraka and Purva Bhadrapad, 3 padas. So it means that the 4th pada of Purva Bhadrapad falls in the sign of Pisces too. Moon in Purva Bhadrapad in the 3 padas of Aquarius sign is more social and more interested in networking than the moon in Purva Bhadrapad that falls in the last 4th pada in Pisces. Moon in Pisces is more religious and more traditional than a moon in Aquarius Purva Bhadrapad. It is like the twins. One is dashing, dynamic and a humanist, while the other is very religious and conservative. Being human, fighting against inequality, advocating for human rights, Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra is all about being a Robin Hood or being Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an American Baptist minister and an activist who became the most visible spokesman and leader in the American civil rights movement. Martin Luther King Jr. had his moon in Aquarius Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. He was a total Aquarius man who fought against injustice, who fought for human rights, who fought for the black Americans who were denied basic human rights in the US. On October 14, 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial inequality through nonviolent resistance. That is the power of Aquarius sign. Aquarius is a highly humanistic sign. It is unconventional when moon is in Shatabisha Nakshatra. However, it becomes more louder in being righteous when moon is in Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra. Being the nakshatra of Jupiter, righteousness can manifest in form of following religious dogma or following community guidelines while fighting for equality and human rights. So humanist or being human is the primary goal of Aquarius sign, irrespective of which Aquarius nakshatra one belongs to. A typical conservative person or God believer will do a certain act of goodness because he wants to receive blessings from God or because he wants to accumulate good karma, punya sanchay. So there is a hidden agenda behind such a man's good act. But a humanist will simply give food to a starving person out of love and compassion, and that's all. And that is why A humanist always says that if you are hungry, I will offer food. If you are thirsty, I will offer water. If you are cold, I will offer warmth. If you are in need, ask and I will give. If you are in trouble, ask and I will help. And I do not do these things in hopes of being rewarded or out of fear of being punished. I do these things because I know them to be right. I set my own standards and I alone enforce them. That is how a true humanist is. It is really a pity that many people feed dogs or cats or fishes or birds for a certain selfish reason. But there are very few, very few who simply offer food out of love, out of compassion. They don't do it to strengthen a planet or remove any doshas or as a remedy. They just do it because they want to do it. That brings joy to their heart, a smile on their face. I love such men and women. They are very rare to find. They are truly special in the eyes of God, and most of them certainly have some connection with the sign Aquarius, because only Aquarius has the humanistic quality. It will do, but it will do out of compassion, and only such an act of compassion reaches God, and God takes care of such beautiful fellows of heart, fellows who are truly the shining stars of this human world. Once it happened, Saint Eknath was traveling back home. In his hand, he was carrying a bottle filled with the holy water of the Ganges. And those were times when it would take many months to travel and collect the holy water from the river of Ganges. Saint Eknath had to spend over 4 months to collect this precious holy water of Ganges, and finally he was on his way back home when he came across a crow. And the crow was very thirsty. He was about to die, and Saint Eknath offered the holy water of Ganges to the crow. The crow drank the whole bottle of Ganges water. There was not a single drop left. The crow flew in the sky. He made some sounds. It was his way of saying, "Thank you, you saved my life." As the crow flew away, a farmer was witnessing this moment of compassion. He stepped ahead and said, "Master, now what will you do? Because all of your efforts of collecting the holy water of Ganges have been wasted. There is no water left. You gave it all to that thirsty crow." Saint Eknath smiled and said, "You miss to realize that the holy water is not wasted. It has saved a life. You see, and what can be more precious than life? Whether it is me or the crow, whether it is you or the crow, life flows through all of us. And I am very happy that these few drops of holy water of the Ganges has saved the crow from dying." You see, that is how the real master is, a humanist. A real master will not spend a second in thinking about religious dogmas or traditions. He will simply focus on the practicalities of life. And what can be more practical than to save someone's life? A typical priest or a religious pandit would have hesitated to offer such a precious holy water of Ganges to a thirsty crow. He would have let the crow die, because to him a crow is a trivial creature, a dirty fellow, a black bird, He would have followed the scriptures, and the scriptures say that you should not offer the holy water to a crow, but only to a human being. But to a real master, a crow is as important as a human being, because life flows in both. Life never discriminates. Then why should we? But only a man of awareness can understand this. Only a truly meditative being can realize this. This depth comes naturally to the sign of Aquarius, and when moon is in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, then the person indeed is more humanist than otherwise. They understand the true essence of humanism. Having a humanistic view and being total in one's action is what moon in Purva Bhadrapada stands for. Reminds me of a beautiful story, a story that helps you realize the significance of being total. It happened once that in the paradise, Buddha, Confucius, and Lao Tzu were sitting in a famous cafe and chatting, laughing, joking, when a waitress came with a tray that holds 3 glasses of the juice called life, and then she offers them. Buddha instantly closes his eyes and says, "Life is misery." Confucius closes his eyes halfway. He is a midlist. He used to preach the golden mean and ask the waitress to give him the glass. He would like to have a sip, but just a sip, because without tasting, how can one say whether life is misery or not? Confucius had a scientific mind. He was not much of a mystic. He had a very pragmatic, earthbound mind. He was the first behaviorist the world has known. Very logical. And it seems perfectly right. He says, "First I will have a sip and then I will say what I think." He takes a sip and he says, "Buddha is right. Life is misery." Lao Tzu takes all the 3 glasses and he says, "Unless one drinks totally, how can one say anything?" And Lao Tzu drinks all the 3 glasses and starts dancing. Buddha and Confucius ask him, "Are you not going to say anything?" And Lao Tzu says, "This is what I am saying. My dance, my song are speaking for me." Unless you taste life totally, you cannot say. And when you taste totally, you still cannot say, because what you know is such that no words are adequate. Buddha is on one extreme, Confucius is in the middle. Lao Tzu has drunk all the 3 glasses, the one that was brought for Buddha, the one that was brought for Confucius, and the one that was brought for him. Lao Tzu has drunk them all. He has lived life in its 3 dimensionality. And that is the message. Live life in all possible ways. Don't choose one thing against the other, and don't try to be in the middle. Don't try to balance yourself. Balance is not something that can be cultivated. Balance is something that comes out of experiencing all the dimensions of life. Balance is something that happens. It is not something that can be brought about through your efforts. When you are living your life in totality, when you are total in whatsoever you are doing, when you drink all the 3 glasses filled with the juice called life, you will be able to balance life. So balancing life is possible only when you live life in its totality. Moon in Purva Bhadrapada has the potential to live life in its totality. Live life in its totality. Drink life in its totality. Yes, Sometimes it tastes bitter. So what? That taste of bitterness will make you capable of tasting its sweetness. You will be able to appreciate the sweetness only if you have tasted its bitterness. One who knows not how to cry will not know how to laugh either. One who cannot enjoy a deep laughter, a belly laugh, that person's tears will be crocodile tears. They cannot be true, they cannot be authentic. Authenticity comes when you are total, when you experience life in all possible ways: money, sex, power, health. You go through all kind of experiences in life. Only then you truly mature, you truly evolve. Always remember, don't be afraid of experience, because the more experience you have, the more mature you become. And so experience life in all possible ways: good, bad, bitter, sweet, dark, light, summer, winter. Experience all the dualities of life. Aquarius moon in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra brings maturity to the native. Always remember, a matured person is more sensitive to his surroundings, to the events that happen in his or her life, and only a sensitive person suffers more in life. Being sensitive is perfectly fine. However, as you evolve, as you start meditating, as you walk on the path of spirituality, you will learn to go beyond the sufferings and experience the beyond, the extraordinary. The people who are sensitive in life may suffer more than those who are insensitive. But if they understand and go beyond their suffering, they will discover extraordinary things. Buddha always was in search of seekers and not believers. Buddha used to say to his disciples, never waste your time in talking with believers, because believers never want to experience God. They just want to rely on some savior, some Messiah. They just want to believe, because by believing they are saving the effort of jumping and exploring the truth themselves. A believer will ask, do you believe in God? Does God exist? However, a true seeker will ask, show me the way to experience God, to experience His divinity. And so this is true, this is so true. That is why God believers are fools and God seekers are the real beings. They are the evolved souls who want to experience God by taking the necessary efforts, by taking all kind of risk. Their intensity is great and God is attained. God is experienced only when your thirst is intense. Only then God comes. Only then God is experienced. The key to self-growth is not in believing in God, but by seeking God, and that is possible only when your mind is free, when you reach the state of no mind. Always remember, only the free mind can discover. That is obvious. You cannot discover the truth of anything by merely being told what it is, because then the discovery is not yours. If you are merely told what happiness is that happiness? And so you need a free mind, a no mind, to experience God, to experience divinity. Moon in Purva Bhadrapada simply is a sign that there is a great potential to progress on the spiritual path, provided the native is an evolving soul. Evolving soul means a soul that is on the spiritual path. An evolved soul means a soul that has been on the spiritual journey from many past births. He or she has spent much of their energy and life in deep penance and in seeking the ultimate truth. Moon in Purva Bhadrapad works wonders, especially when it comes to spirituality and wisdom. The Sanatan Dharma, meaning the eternal Dharma, the eternal religion, or the eternal order of ancient India, had therefore emphasized on Purushartha. Purushartha literally means object of human pursuit. It is a key concept in Hinduism and refers to the four proper goals or aims of a human life. These four goals or purusharthas are dharma, that is being righteous, artha, that is earning money, kama, that is enjoying sexual pleasures, and moksha, that is attaining liberation, nirvana. People who are not comfortable to listen or talk about sex have real serious problems with their sexuality. Such men and women should learn to accept the fact that sex is one of the four goals, Purushartha, of the Sanatan Dharma, the eternal order. Moon in Gemini, Libra and Aquarius is always good for material progress because such a moon is more focused on attaining fame, expanding social network, and considering today's age, which is the networking age. Such a moon becomes an asset provided Saturn is well placed in the birth chart. The most striking quality of Aquarius sign is being vocal about issues that matter. And when moon is in Purva Bhadrapad, then the native is indeed very vocal and would never suffer silently, but would voice out his or her concerns and feelings to the world. One fine example of moon in Purva Bhadrapad is the famous revolutionary priest and American social civil rights leader Martin Luther King. One of the famous quote of Martin Luther King is, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Hillary Clinton is also born with moon in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, and she indeed has been a voice for millions of women across the US. One of her famous quote is, "We need to understand that there is no formula for how women should lead their lives. That is why we must respect the choices that each woman makes for herself and her family. Every woman deserves the chance to realize her God-given potential." Gemini, Libra, Aquarius are signs of imagination, intellectualism, communication, and so many great poets, authors are born with moon in Purva Bhadrapad. In Gemini, moon wants to communicate, interact, and impress. In Libra, moon wants to make deals, form relationships. In Aquarius, moon wants to make benefits from the deals and relationships that he or she has so cleverly nurtured. So Aquarius moon definitely is focused on enjoying the benefits, the perks, and so Aquarius moon generally makes you rich and famous if you have the necessary strength of Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus in your birth chart. When it comes to relationship, Moon in Purva Bhadrapad, Aquarius sign, can lead to many challenges in relationships. It is possible that 6 months ago you may see a man and a woman in each other's arms, and 6 months later you may see the same man and same woman trying to cut each other's throat. And then they call this as a love relationship. There are many such love marriages that have turned into hate marriages and have landed them in the court. Relationship is always demanding. However, relating is never demanding. I relate with you, you relate with me. There is no obligation, there is no dependency. As long as you relate, we can be good friends. The moment you no more relate, we can choose our ways apart. Relating, therefore, is beautiful. If you love a woman, if you love a man, then first see if you relate. Because as long as you relate, you will be good friends. And in love, friendship is very, very important. Because love may fade away after your first few honeymoon nights. Love can fade away, but friendship will remain. And so, when you are in love, focus on first strengthening your bonding, your friendship. Buddha therefore never told people to love each other. He talked about friendship, and he had a reason for saying so. He said that there should be friends in your life. Ananda asked Buddha, why you do not call it love? And Buddha said, friendship is more deeper than love. Love can end, but friendship never ends. Love binds, but friendship gives freedom. Love can enslave somebody. It can possess. It can become a master. Friendship does not become someone's master. It does not hold anyone back. It does not imprison. Friendship frees you. Moon in Purva Bhadrapad understands the essence of friendship. Being a highly humanistic, socializing, and understanding zodiac sign, Aquarius qualities are more visible with Moon in Purva Bhadrapad. And so, overall, you will find a good human being, someone who is unconventional, practical, and yet having the potential to understand the many deeper aspects of human life. Neem tree is the sacred tree for Purva Bhadrapad. And so watering, gardening, nurturing the neem tree will help the native to refine the many good qualities of Moon in Purva Bhadrapad. Even eating 2 leaves of neem tree every day will help you in improving your health. Purva Bhadrapad is the peak of Sri Guru's wisdom, and so I humbly prostrate before the wise Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. May the blessings of Purva Bhadrapad continue to shower on me and on all my close followers. The whole message of Purva Bhadrapad is, do not try to perceive this world through reason or logic. For this world and the creator of this beautiful world, God, can only be attained when you start moving beyond your logic, when you embark on the journey towards your heart. For the heart knows the way. God dwells in your heart, and the language of the heart cannot be known through your logic or reason. It can be only known when you stop thinking and start feeling. And that is how the great spiritual master Guru Nanak says, one cannot comprehend him through reason, even if one reasoned for ages. And so only a man of heart, Only a man of heart can feel, can understand the language of Buddha, the language of Krishna, Jesus, Guru Nanak. The Master is in search of such men and women who follow their heart, who don't run by their legs, but who runs by their heart. Love and blessings to such beautiful men and women of heart. God is always with such beautiful souls. No matter what, He always saves those who follow the voice within. He always will take you in His arms when you no more are trapped in your logic, but when you have truly become a man of heart, a woman of heart. Meditate on my words. Stay happy and remember to meditate and chant every day. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.